The madness is here. After a tournament that went chalk all the way to the semifinals, two stunning upsets have set the table for today's Maryland Boys Private School State Basketball Tournament. To cap off an incredible season in the DMV, a new champion will be anointed. Either the Bullis Bulldogs or the Clinton Grace Christian Eagles will raise the trophy here at Eleanor Roosevelt High School for the first time. Welcome on in here to Greenbelt, Maryland. Tyler Byram and Jimmy Patsos here with you. Now, Jimmy, you saw both these two teams in the semifinal. You were really impressed with what you saw. What are we going to see here tonight?
Clinton Grace was kind of my surprise team on the East Coast. By the way, common opponent is Highland. Okay. Bruce Kelly and Bullis lost the first game of the year to him. Clinton Grace lost in the finals of their league. That has native men. He's a McDonald's All-American, go wherever he wants. Clinton Grace, depth, they run, they press, they kind of run and jump like Nolan Richardson's old Arkansas teams. I don't mean to go for that far back, but nobody presses like that. Not a traditional press, kind of a speed you up press. Bullis is as solid a team. Bruce Kelly's a great coach. Guy going to Marquette, guy going to UConn, going to keep you in front. Going to see which style wins here today, Tyler.
Well, let's talk about those players that are both going to UConn and Marquette. First one, we're going to talk about Eric Ariba, a 7-foot senior. Jimmy, the reason why we watch sports is because you want to see something you haven't seen before. Number 22 commit, according to ESPN. He's incredible with what he can do.
And I knew he had battled injuries, but thank you. Tyler informed me. No, it's been 6 weeks since he played. Now he comes out and plays against DeMatha, comes off the bench, has 2 big threes at the end. I thought his defensive rebounding was excellent, and his 2 threes at the end when they stretched the defense put the game away. Stevens, come on, the guy does everything. He played 32 minutes. He controls the game. He can play the point. He'll play forward. He'll rebound, pass, score. It's one thing to watch a guy on tape or in AAU. What he did to DeMatha, 32 minutes, I was so impressed, Tyler.
Clearly the best player on the court in that semifinal. On the flip side, let's talk about the sophomore class. Jalen Lyles, first-team all-conference honoree. His commitment is still open. Of course, he has several years, but he's getting some looks right now. It's just a class of 27. Class of 27.
Yeah, and his brother's on the team, too, who's really good. Okay, CJ, James Dory was good. Cleve Norcom hit some shots. But, you know, to me, it was Zoji Owinje that was the difference. And that was, he just hit 18 points. They'll dunk on you. They'll hit threes on you. They'll press. They'll let chaotic. They'll run good half-court offense. Just can't say enough about Coach Page, who went to Clinton Grace, who's built this program over 7 years, and how impressive his team was in person.
A theme with this team is an unselfish basketball team. They love to share the ball. Let's introduce you to both teams, and right now we'll send it over to PA announcer Jeff Beckett.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final Maryland Private School State Basketball Tournament Championship for the boys. It features the number 4 seed Clinton Grace Christian out of Clinton, Maryland. He earned an automatic bid representing the Metro Private School Conference. They entered the tournament with a record of 25-7. Here are their starters. Number 1, a first-team All-League selection, Javon Lyons. He's wearing number 3, C.J. Lyons. He's wearing number 5, Zoji Owinje. Wearing number 11, another first-team All-League selection, Caleb Norcom. And rounding out the 5, wearing number 23, Bryce Adams. The Eagles are coached by Devin Page and assisted by Emmanuel Kakula, Josh Clark, Daryl Jelks, Lou Simpson, Aaron Dykes, and Nate Godden. And now, the Bullis Bulldogs from Potomac, Maryland, coming as a 3 seed and will be playing in their 2nd consecutive Maryland Private School title matchup. They earned an automatic bid after winning the IAC conference and entered the tournament. Here are their starters. Wearing number 1, he'll be playing at Howard University, Jeremiah Johnson. Wearing number 2, a first-team All-League selection, he'll be playing at Stonehill, Darren Moore. He's wearing number 11, Xavier Skipworth. And wearing number 13, IAC Player of the Year, and a member of the Bullis 1,000 Point Club, who will be playing at the University of Marquette, Adrian Stevens. And rounding out the 5, he's wearing number 31, Chris Richards. The Bulldogs are coached by Bruce Kelly and assisted by Paul.
Thank you, of course, to Jeff Beckett for introducing us to both teams. Bullis 22-7 on the year, led by head coach Bruce Kelly in his 21st season, going against Clinton Grace 24-7 on the year, hailing from the Metro Private School Conference. They have made it to the championship game in the MPSC the past 3 seasons, but they have been defeated every single time. Take a look at their path to how they got here to this championship game. On the flip side for Bullis, winning the IAC, both the regular season and the tournament championship, as they are now here in the Maryland Private School State Championship game. Bullis High School against Clinton Grace. Tyler Byram and Jimmy Patsos here with you. Bullis with possession. Here's a talented freshman, Xavier Skipworth, who is well beyond his years in terms of skill and IQ. Wearing number 11 right now on the baseline. Darren Moore picks up the shovel, gives it to Skipworth. Inside, and a deflection leads to a turnover. That was a sophomore. Jaylon Lyons is the reason why we talked about it.
They're going to, whether it's full court pressure or half court, they're going to get deflections. They're going to play a little chaotic. Bullis is going to play straight, kind of man-to-man and keep you in front of you. Play very solid defense. Won't blitz, won't really help. They'll count, and that's why.
Bryce Adams,
play one-on-one.
He got away with a push-off, but defense is able to win that one. Good defense there by senior Chris Richards.
And that's without Ryba. You're McDonald's All-American in the game because, as Tyler said, he was hurt for 6 weeks. He's back. The match was his first game. My guy to watch is number 1, Jeremiah Johnson. He's the X-Factor going to Howard U for Bullis.
Richards can't get the finish. Darren Moore took a tumble there at the free throw line. Possession here to Clinton Grace. Scoreless here in the first minute 13. Both teams trying to feel each other out. Here's the older brother of Jaylon, CJ, taking it himself. Pulls up, 3 white shirts around him. Passes out to Adams. He has the shot. Can't get it to go.
And that's what you'll see Stevens do. See, he's not just some guy that's looking for the outlet. He went and got it himself.
Here it is, Adrian Stevens.
You know, I love to do this, Tyler. You know, Stevens reminds me of Russell Westbrook.
Oh, okay.
Because he broke the triple-double record here in D.C.
How about Caleb Norcom shutting him down? 2 penetration attempts. No luck.
That's early.
6 on the possession clock. The 3 is good.
I hate when I'm right. I said Jeremiah Johnson. I talked to Bruce Kelly. He said he's better. He's one of those guys who's getting better as the year goes. He really wasn't on my scout. He played outstanding against him after. Here he hits the 3 because everyone knows who Stevens is. And, you know, Ryba and all that stuff. That's different. Jeremiah Johnson's making his name in this tournament.
There's a reason why you were once paid the big bucks.
That would be once paid. And Chris Wright's here.
That's once more than me.
No, you're going to get the big bucks coming. Chris Wright from the Wizards broadcast is here tonight with us, too.
Here's Devin Page,
Love
head coach.
him. Devin Page
Grace.
went there, Tyler. I like that. Went there.
Yep, and he is dedicated to building this program up. A very small Catholic school. Through the past several years, they become a regional team. Now they're competing at the highest level.
You talked to him. How was he when you talked to him?
Oh, he was very impressive, and just the way he's committed to these players in this program. And he didn't know if he was going to be able to take the team that's going all the way to the cup as Stevens, and he's just a little foot. But he didn't know what it takes, but he was willing to learn, and so far, he's doing the job.
Yeah, great job. And he had 5 guys go to Division I, had to rebuild. Bruce Kelly, and that's Paul DiStefano next to him, who's a legendary. Jack Bruin's friend. Paul DiStefano's coached at St. John's, outstanding high school. His whole family, his brother coached at Gallaudet, his other brother coached at Einstein. Wonderful family. Bruce Kelly, Gonzaga, and Dick Myers played at Catholic U, where I went for Jack Bruin. He's been there 21 years, and he's continually just got Bullis better and better. His best player ever, Eric Reynolds, just set the scoring record at St. Joe's in Philly.
We'll talk more about that later. He's led them to 8 IAC championships, 8 regular season, 8 postseason tournaments. Tough jumper there for Stevens. misses. Rebound here to Clinton Grace. 3-0 ball game. Lions, what strength to get that pass off. They can't connect with the three.
And that's what Grace hit the other night. Look, Grace was down early. They tried to play zone. And Mount Zion solved it early. They said forget it. They went man-to-man. They went scramble. They went press. And they owned the last 3 quarters against Mount Zion, who was the #1 seed. Chalk, as Tyler likes to say. What the?
Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. Three-pointer is good for Jalen Lyles.
He's just left off. He left off where he was at Seton the other night. Elizabeth Seton making threes from deep.
He has learned how to lead this team's offense with the ball in his hands during an outstanding winning streak that they had earlier this season. He's been phenomenal, named to the All-League first team. Ties this game up at 3 here in the first quarter. Here's Skipworth trying to answer on the other side. Rebound goes to Adams.
See, this is where he's done a good job to me, Coach Page. They won't take a bad shot. Like they didn't have transition. They couldn't run. They're going to run a set. They would get the ball on the post. Good things happen when you go in there. Like that. Offensive rebound. You get the ball on the post. Defense collapses. You either kick out for a 3 or get an offensive rebound and score. And he put on a show the other night at Winjay, including dunking the ball on some people from Mount Zion who were very surprised at that.
Zoji Awinje, #5, scoring that last bucket. Second team all-conference honoree from the MPSC. 5-3 lead. Driving here is Stevens. Kick out to the corner. Richards going to take it on a drive, and he's rejected. Met up in the air by Caleb Norcom. Going the other way. Kick out to CJ. Short.
Yeah, just a little deep. I liked it. Jalen did the right thing and drove it, kicked it to CJ. CJ should have shot faked and taken that to the rim.
Jimmy, we're 5 minutes in, only 3 buckets have been scored so far. Do they need to settle down, or do you like this?
Look, I think they're both a little nervous. As you said, they're not chalk. And what Tyler means, if anybody doesn't know what that means, they're not the favorites. DeMatha was the 2 seed. Mount Zion was the 1. So, and you know, Bullis, we've talked ad nauseum. They lost in double overtime on a heartbreaker last year. Maybe getting a little jitters out, but they're both good teams. I think we talked about this. Mark Stern of Capitol, who put a great tournament. Is these 2 teams probably wouldn't play in the regular season, Tyler. They just wouldn't schedule each other, not in the same conferences. Yet here they are to claim the state tournament title.
And now checking in the 7-footer, Eric Ryba. Can't miss him.
His better days are ahead of him, by the way. He's going to get a little more strength. Reminds you of clinging a little bit. Maybe shoots it a little better. That's what he does best to me, Tyler, is defensive rebound.
Able to collect the glass there. 5-3. Time to see what he can do on the offensive side. Ryba catches it over in the corner. He can shoot it if he wants. Steps in for the midi. No good. Long rebound. Tracks out to the Eagles. Here is Norcom. Lions driving back out to CJ. They'll reset their offense. 2:08 left to go here in the first. Fast pace, but just 8 points scored. And then CJ Lyons throws that one into the second row.
Now, sometimes I'm surprised Clinton Grace is impressing right here. Gary Williams press on the sideline, 55 sideline, one trap. People aren't ready for it. Because anytime the ball's in the backcourt, Clinton Grace is a threat to put pressure defense on him.
Here's Stevens. Holding on, hasn't dribbled yet. Now I'll put it down with his right hand. 2 to go. Ryba throws it inside. Xavier Skipworth kick out to Stevens. Stevens with a strong take. Back out to Skipworth. No good. Hezzy there by Jalen Lyles. Thinks better of it. Norcom now posting up. The smaller Darren Moore. Help coming in. Kick out. The swing. Now the drive by Awinje. Back out to Jalen Lyles. 12 seconds to shoot. Rebound going to Bullis.
I might not take that one unless I had 20 or I was Samuels from McNamara, the girl who just had 8 threes. That was a little bit of a heat check for early in the game. As you said, Tyler, there's been not many fouls called. Great refereeing. I know all these officials are all veterans of the D.C., Baltimore High School, Catholic League tournament, etc.
Michael Hemans checked into this game as well.
He's
back
a sharpshooter and a great putter. Plays for Sean Whalen on the golf team.
Skipworth drills the mid-range shot. Xavier Skipworth, again, as I said, plays beyond his years. Has covered some of the top players in the country. Watch what he does on the defensive side of the ball. Right now he's going up against CJ Lyons over in that left corner. Ball kicked out. Jalen Lyles penetrate out to his brother. Can't get it to fall. 20 seconds left here in the first half. Bullis can hold for the last shot. Heeman to the corner. Darren Moore for three. No. Ryba battling for the board. Here's a chance here for Clinton Grace. Are they going to push it or are they going to settle?
See, just solid defense. They get back in transition. Bullis stop it, and then you can't beat them. They're just going to play solid shell drill.
And Jalen Lyles not recognizing the clock, trying to get the inside feed there to Bryce Adams. And after one, it's a 5-5 ball game. Low scoring affair here in the Maryland Private School State Championship.
Back-to-back battles in Toronto.
Flushing it home.
The Wizards' young talent and new additions are bringing fresh energy on the court.
Marcus Smart. It's the Bruce Lee. Wow.
First up, Saturday, March 8th. Then again on Monday, March 10th.
Rashawn.
Pre-game starts at 7 p.m. and tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. on both nights. Don't miss a minute. Catch all the action live on Monumental Sports Network or stream on Monumental Plus.
On an all-new season of Hometown.
Oh, come on. She's Dominique Josh. She can do anything.
Got it?
Action.
When you were here at Dunbar, you were a machine, man.
Go. Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
I go behind the scenes with the biggest names in sports and entertainment.
Don't hit the camera.
She's a good broad.
I love it.
Tune into Monumental Sports Network or the Monumental Plus app for an all-new season of Hometown.
A combined 10 points in the first quarter. 4 for 23 was the combined shooting mark for both these teams. Jimmy, is it jitters? What's going on? I know I asked you 3 minutes ago. Has your opinion changed?
A little bit. I think there's a couple of shots they took that, hey, look, both teams are pretty hot. Bullis was did not to cut it to 1 against Bullis, and Bullis had a fourth quarter that was just impressive. Grace, after the first quarter, they owned the next 3 quarters and kind of took the game away. They were hot. A little bit jitters. Hey, it's a packed gym. It's on TV. You get Tyler doing the game. Like, there's a lot of pressure out there now. But seriously, I do think that both teams are very good defensively. They're a different type of defense, but both very effective at what they do.
Look there at your first quarter stats. Like I said, a combined 4 for 23 from the field. Vast difference from what we saw. Great running the offense there to get the feed to Adams. That's how you execute the pick and roll. Adams and C.J. Lyons. That is great connection there. A ghost screen forcing the switch. Adams with the finish, and now the chance for the three-point play. And if buckets are going to be hard to come by, that's a big one there to make it 8-5.
I told you, they're deep, just like McNamara. They might not have the talent that McNamara women have in terms of high major status, but Clinton Grace is very deep, and they've got some young players. He lost 5 guys to scholarships last year, Division I and II, Coach Page. 5 players, and that's why we're in this business. Nice pass.
What a pass to set up Ryba.
Johnson playing really well. In other words, Tyler, when you get in this, I coached at Carroll for 2 years. You want guys to get scholarships, whether it's Lawrence Moten at Syracuse, Charlie Harron at Wake Forest, to Jay Butler, who's now the head coach at Virginia Union. That's what you do. But he got 5 new guys and some young guys on Clinton Grace. He, like McNamara, has sort of a bright future.
Heeman gets the block on one side. He got fouled on that 3, but a second possession here going for Jeremiah Johnson. Let's go back and take a look.
Can't say enough.
Being helped up.
Can't say enough about Jeremiah Johnson. Look at this pass. Wrap around.
Out of the camera shot.
And then Ryba, as you said, collects and scores. He hits some big threes. He's been off for 6 weeks. Remember, big guys are big. It's hard to... everyone's like, well, why does he do this? Well, it's hard to imagine how it is being that big. And you have that much size and pressure on an ankle that gets hurt, etc. So he's got good hands. He's going to be really good in Danny Hurley's system. Remember, Klingon did not start his freshman year. They won the title, but he came off the bench. Ryba in 3 years, you wait in 2 or 3 years when he's a sophomore or junior at UConn. He's going to be that much more developed. Luke Murray, Bill Murray's kid, is the assistant up there. You know him well. He started 1,000 from Pat Scary. Ryba's days are coming. Stevens, to me, plug and play, like Russell Westbrook. Great athlete, ready to go to Marquette. He could help them right now because they don't have a bench that much. Stevens ready to play right away.
Jeremiah Johnson, speaking of ready to play right away, going to Howard next season.
For Kenny Blakeney, my buddy Kenny Blakeney. Loved Kenny. Even though I went to DeMatha and beat us when I was at Carroll High School.
Good defense there by Heeman, but it's broken there by Owinje.
That's what
Second
they do.
chance bucket there for Caleb Norcom.
Every time they needed a big play against Mount Zion South to run with Norcom, he hit a three, he went to the rebounds, he got offensive rebound there. That's just a great hustle play.
And he's really impressed Coach Page with his boys this year, stepping up. You mentioned the players that graduated out of this program a year ago. They didn't have many veteran players coming back from that team, but Caleb Norcom, now a junior, he filled in that void that the graduating players left.
That's why you do a great job, Tyler, talking to coaches about all this stuff. You pick all that up because someone's got to be a leader when you leave everybody. That doesn't mean it's your best players.
There's Stevens. Pull-up jumper, no. Tried to step up and knock that one down. Rebound going to Jalen Lyles. He's been all over the ball here today. He had a one-on-one lane, thought better of it, going up against Johnson. Stevens now covering C.J. Lyons. See how this Marquette defense will look. Shaka Smart, he knows a thing or two about defense.
Oh, you're going to press and run, and you're going to do all that stuff. When we hit him there, you got lucky there was a foul call there.
Officials are letting them play. O'Board goes to the Eagles. Can't make them pay.
See, and there's Rybe again, defensive play. What Stevens won't get credit was he flew at the shooter, didn't foul him, made him miss.
I think Doc Rivers said it one time. When you have players that can end possessions like Rybe, cleaning up the glass like that,
it holds him going. By the way, Stevens reminds me, I'm old, of Doc Rivers, who played at Marquette. Chicago guy Doc Rivers played at Marquette. Went for Al McGuire. Then he was in the Hawks championship. Well, close. Bird, they couldn't get by Bird them. Doc Rivers reminds me of Stevens. He's a big guard that'll rebound, etc. But Rybe, yeah, when he holds the other team to one shot. But you saw Clinton Gray still jump and get their own rebounds. That's one thing. Rybe's tall, but you still have to jump in the air. Clinton Gray's super athletic.
Jimmy, you don't want me to tell you my first memories of Doc Rivers.
Tell me. Share.
What was it, 2008? Kevin Garnett?
Yeah, when they won the title.
They won the title. That was when I first introduced to the legendary.
They should have won a couple. They let Posey go, but he was, Doc Rivers had that team playing it out. Look at that move.
Beautiful drive by C.J. Lyons. His brother gets all the fanfare. He can put it on the floor and score as well.
You know what he was patient, then he crossed over. And what I said before is about you can't let the McNamara girls get the lead. They're too good. I feel the same way about Clinton Grace. Don't let them get a big lead, Tyler. It's hard to come back on them.
Richards gets his own miss. Can't get a second chance points. Contesting the second rebound there. Goes though to the Eagles. Defense back at set.
That's a unforced turnover right there. You don't want to have.
Devin Page trying to get his team to slow down here a little bit. Here's a look at C.J. Lyons. That's a great read in the pick and roll.
Great read. Doesn't use his he crosses back over. Where's the help defense? Bruce Kelly's not going to be happy about that.
Should say it wasn't a pick and roll. His post player moved out towards the perimeter. Lane was wide open.
Yeah, not using the pick could be a smart play.
Going right at Rybe. Rybe with it. Step back three for the big man.
That is tough.
Woo!
That's like Jokic. I mean, if you can do that, then you're going to play at the higher level because the bigs today have to be able to shoot threes. He did that with a defender on him.
We watch things that we watch sports because mortal humans can't do these incredible things. That was incredible. 13-12. Clinton Grace on top here in the second quarter of the Maryland Private School State Championship.
Now he goes and blocks
on the other
shot.
end, it's Rybe.
Now he's showing you why he was McDonald's All-American, which I voted for him. You see, he had a little Julius Randle. I try to compare lefties to lefties. You have to be, he looks like Jokic and all that, but that step back three, Julius Randle did that when he had 50 against the Wizards last year. Now he plays for the Timberwolves and the Knicks. Rybe does a little bit of everything.
More pull-up jumper there from the elbow. Rybe, you mentioned All-American. He's going to be playing against the likes of A.J. DeBansa, Cameron Boozer, Nate Mint. These are players that are going to be the future of college basketball. His name's right in there with him.
Yes, it's April 2nd and 3rd up in New York. I'll be there. Joey Wooten and Terry Lynn Wooten with an amazing job with it. There's a steal from the Stonehill commit. That's just strong right there.
Tough take all the way to the bucket for Darren Moore, the senior out of Potomac.
See, now, I said I was a little concerned if the game got out of control. Bullis, their strength, their toughness on defense, and let's face it, they've got an older team than Clinton Grace. That's a big minute they had right there.
Jalen Lyles
And that was Ryba hitting the three that started that. But they're not getting beat defensively. They're not getting beat in the half-court defense.
Officials letting these guys play. There's a pair of subs coming in on the next dead ball for both these teams. Chris Richards throws over to Darren Moore. 7-0 run here for the Bulldogs. Can they make it 9-0? No.
I thought he got hit on the arm there.
There's been a couple of those here today, Jimmy.
Yeah, they're letting him play. Skipworth has to play. Skipworth, who's a manager on the golf team for Sean Real, and puts around at Congressional and Columbia and those places.
You familiar with golf courses, Jimmy?
A little bit. I just like stories like that Skipworth's like, yeah, I want to learn how to play golf. That's what Tiger Woods, Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, when they play golf. When basketball players play golf and then they hang out with the stars, whether it's Rory McIlroy, etc., I think it's cool that Skipworth wants to learn the business, wants to learn about golf.
Floater there for CJ Lyons. So that includes Charles Barkley in that category.
He is not a great golfer, but he loves the sport.
That's all that matters. I'm not good at basketball, but I'm here.
Exactly, CJ. That's
right,
just too easy.
Same spot.
His feet are set. His follow-through is good. But really, the defense, they close too late on that. You got to go out with a hand up. He's already 7 feet. So he's looking right at the rim, unobscured, unblocked.
Lyons takes the screen, and there we go. Finally a whistle. Offensive foul there on Bryce Adams, and I give a little credit there to Ryba. He made sure he was getting that call.
Yeah, well, he rolled. Look, the NBA sets that the tone. You got to let guys land when they shoot three-pointers now. That started because of the playoffs. Somebody got hurt for the Warriors, right? The screen and roll, because Jokic is so effective and Joel Embiid, the NBA has cleaned that up. You can't just clear out when you roll. It's too hard for the defense. You have to wait till the player. Well, now you see it called in college, and now you see it called in high school. In other words, everything flows down from the pros. And the Wizards have a great young team. But you see them make some of these young mistakes, like fouling a shooter or rolling too early. And that's okay. It's just a learning process, but you can't leave early when you set the screen anymore. All these refs know what to call it, and they're all looking for it, especially at the top of the key.
These guys are working right now as we have a foul, and there'll be a dead ball here for Bullis.
He's a steal for Stonehill. Stonehill, where Ed Cooley, the coach of Georgetown, went.
Scratch that one off my list.
Yep.
I didn't think you were going to pull out Ed Cooley there on
Derek
the Stonehill
Forrest,
reference.
who's here for DC News doing this high school special. He went to Stonehill as well as Ed Cooley.
Did not have that one.
Yeah.
So I'll give you credit on that one.
He's a Division II guy.
Ryba, two-man game right now. Posting up, just going to work. Almost got that underneath basket finish to go.
Like Kevin McHale there. In other words, he posted, threw it out, and reposted.
Under a minute to go here in the first half of the Maryland Boys High School Private State Championship.
I'd say the pace is going Bullis' way, in my opinion.
4-point lead. Can they grow it? A chance for a 2-for-1 here if they go quickly. Stevens pass out to Moore for 3. Back iron. Offensive rebound by Heeman.
And Heeman's more like a dead set shooter who comes in. He is on the golf team, very good golfer. There's another 3, gonna get it off.
Ryba drills it. 3 for 3 for the 7-footer.
It's funny, the big people. Samuels was the tallest girl on the team from McNamara, makes 8 threes. Ryba's got 3 already.
It's a new game. 10 seconds left to go here in the first half. 7-point lead for the Bullis Bulldogs. Ball slips out of the hands of CJ Lyons. Cleaned up. Kick out for 3 at the buzzer. No good. Ryba gets another board. And the Bullis Bulldogs, after a slow start, able to put it all together and take a 7-point lead here at the break. We'll step aside and be back after this on Monumental Plus. Welcome back. Second half action about to get going here at the Maryland Private School State Basketball Championship. We're pleased to be with you here on Monumental Plus. Tyler Byram, Jimmy Patsos. Jimmy, what does Clinton Grace have to do to be successful here in the second half?
They're going to have to push the pace a little. Ryba dominated the defensive boards. He also had 3 threes, one which was ridiculous, like crossover step back. He's finding his way after being sitting out. But the pace of the game is favoring Bruce Kellis and Bullis. If you're Clinton Grace, you want to press, you want to run a little more. The problem is, Tyler, you have to score to set up your press. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. Lots of basketball to be played. And Clinton Grace, from what I've watched them this last 2 years, this thing's far from over.
You mentioned Eric Ryba. Let's talk about the 7-footer. He's at 11 points. All 11 of them were scored in the second half. Jimmy, he may have broken the thermometer, but it was already broken at this point.
I love you because Samuels, in case you're picking it up, Samuels had broken the thermometer in the first game. Tyler's good. That's the one right there. That's a crossover step back like Julius Randle. That's just a catch and shoot. You know, right there. That's another catch and shoot. You're too late right there. That's too late. He's wide open. Who's going to make that, okay? But his defensive rebounds, and you and I talked about this, Tyler, that holds you to one shot. You said that's what Doc Rivers said. When you hold team to one shot, you're in good place. And there's the stats to prove it.
Yeah, 1 for 11 from 3. I don't necessarily hate some of the looks they were getting, but they just got to start falling. You got to set yourself up for better shots. But let's go back to Ryba. Why not?
They were on fire against Mount Zion, and they finished the fourth quarter scoring. You think that's going to happen again, but this is a better defensive team, Bullis, than Mount Zion. A little deeper, and they got two guys going to the Big East for a reason. So maybe you want a shot fake, get it to the paint. Good things happen in the paint, whether you kick it or whether you finish. So Clinton Grace, I might drive the ball a little more, and then you got to set your press up, that little habit press they had, the 51.
Ryba, who UConn head coach Dan Hurley called a cheat code. Excited to have him there in stores next season. Leading scorer, though, for Clinton Grace, Devin Lyons. I mean, you got to love what you're seeing from the sophomore, but he's going to have to step it up here a little bit in the second half.
He is, but they had more guys score last time, but they had their defense turn it offense. They had a steal for a dunk. They had some highlight plays. They were just a little more aggressive. But right now, I said it before, Jeremiah Johnson going to Howard has provided some really solid stuff. Darren Moore's tough. Skipworth, his father played, as you said, at VMI, you know. Like, this is just a veteran kind of solid team. Bullis. Clinton Grace, little new guy on the block, little younger, little feistier. Use that energy. Play with that energy, Clinton Grace, and make this your type of game. That's what I would say at halftime. And I would start by pressing the sideline right now. I would be all over these guys with Clinton Grace because that's what they were so good at last time I watched them play.
So here we go. Teams have taken the court, switched sides. Bullis will be attacking to the right. Not quite a full press, but pushing it back here to start. That is Adrian Stevens, the Marquette signee, leading the way here for Bullis. Feed inside to Ryba, starting here in the second half. Going to work immediately. Turnaround post move high off the glass. Couldn't get the roll. And then swiping it away as Johnson is rewarded with a three. He is!
I mean, I've only watched 2 games of this tournament with Bullis, but right now Johnson's my MVP. He's just making big shots. He hits shots that make the game seem a lot harder for the opposing team. Now it's a 10-point lead. You know, he made a good pass to get Ryba going. He plays good defense.
That one wins out on the other side.
Got him. He's right.
8 points for Johnson so far. He had 18 on Wednesday night in the semifinal against DeMatha.
Johnson steals it, gets to the three-point line, hits it. Kenny Blakeney and the Howard Bison. And Bird Chip Daisy. We're going to be excited to see him come to play for him.
And Lyons with the handle. Over to his brother CJ. Back to Jalen. Pull up. Awkward shot. Couldn't get it to fall. Skipworth with the rebound.
And you talked about it, Tyler. There's a process to winning.
Xavier Skipworth, just a freshman. Outstanding confidence.
You know, Bruce Kelly's been there 21 years. Coach Page has been here 7. Bruce Kelly's won 3 in a row at the IAC. Lost it all over town to DeMatha. There's a process. It feels right like now that is off for Bullis. Got to make that wide open 3.
Rims
got to make that. And I know they're having good looks, but you're 1 for 12. You just, at some point, you coach how you say, just make it.
Yeah. And right now, defensively, Ryba didn't come in until late in the first quarter. But Clinton Grace has had trouble scoring the entire time. What is he doing defensively to just not allow Clinton Grace any chance at trying to go inside?
Look, Tyler, you know this. You've been around. He's big. He's a physical presence.
Trying to set you up, Jim.
No, and I appreciate it. No, and I mean that. It's not like he's pounding the ball or anything. I don't know if it's just a subliminal mind thing, but I've said this before. I agree with you. Him getting defensive read. There's 2 things Clinton Grace did really well against Mount Zion, in my opinion. Defensively, create pace by hawking the ball. And second, they trapped for every loose ball, rebound, etc. They kind of did all the dirty work. Well, they can't beat to that today.
Taylor's turnover by Norcom, a 3-on-1, and I thought he was going for it. The freshman Skipworth with the finish, and there's the timeout, as called by Coach Passos, or excuse me, Coach Page.
That's right.
For Clinton Grace.
But I'm with you, Tyler, and I think you're right. It's not that he's doing anything right, but he's out there, and you know you're looking at him. Hey, they know he's a McDonald's All-American. They know he's 7 foot. Clinton Grace, it's in the back of your mind.
27-15, a 5-0 run here for Bullis, and here's the 3-on-1. Perfectly executed there to set up the freshman for the easy bucket. Well, and the newest Beyond the Buzzer, the Wizards are rising stars heading to San Francisco for All-Star Weekend. Wizards alum Harvey Grant helps fuel first responders and much more. Watch the premiere this Monday at 5 p.m. on Monumental Sports Network and stream anytime after on the Monumental Plus app. You seen these Beyond the Buzzer episodes, Jimmy?
I love Wes Hall's my hero. He's my favorite guy ever, of course. And the 3 rising stars, Bub from Baltimore, who played at St. Francis, where the girls were from. You know, I think the Keyshawn George is going to be there next year. He didn't make it this year. Watch out. His numbers are coming.
I don't know if it was last episode or this episode, but there's a clip in there of him. He's a chef. He's got some cooking abilities there.
Keyshawn George is a cultured guy. You know, he played in France for 4 years for culinary cuisine. The diplomat. We can go there, Tyler, for lunch one day. And bring Zach, our director-producer, who I owe lunch to. Look, SAR's doing an amazing thing offensively. We all knew he could play defense. Bilal Koulibaly's gotten better. He's the leader of the 4. Bub's just Baltimore tough. But this guy, Keyshawn George, is than we all thought. Even if we talk about it, Wes, me, Chris Miller, you're good. He's bigger than we thought. He shoots the ball better. He's a little bit better passer. He's tougher than we think. Feisty. He might end up being the steal of the draft only because he was picked 28th, you know?
Well, when you have 3 first-round picks, it really helps to be able to at least hit on a few of them. They've been lucky. Looks like they're hitting on all 3.
And it looks like, 3 for 3, and Koulibaly's definitely hit. So that's 4 for 4. And getting A.J. Johnson, who I like in the trade. He's a Fresno kid that didn't get to play much for Milwaukee. They have 5 young players under 20 that are, to me, all solid. Will they be all-stars? I'm not saying that, but they're all solid.
Inbounds was thrown to the trees. Almost led to a turnover there for Clinton Grace. You could see they were trying to hound and push the pace. They were able to get the steal. 5 seconds to shoot. Ryba for 3.
That went.
And a foul underneath the basket will give Bullis.
And there's our guy again, Johnson, creating havoc on the other team. He stole the ball. He hit a 3. He's playing defense. He got in there again. Once again, Clinton Grace, you're fighting for your life. You got to get that rebound. But there's Johnson. Opposite inside. Bobby Huggins, if you're opposite the ball, get inside your man. You'll get the rebound. He did.
Ryba.
Can't let him turn that way. Can't let him turn that way.
And foul going up.
And he's going to turn into his left, Tyler. He's either scoring a foul every time.
Ryba going on in. I mean, when you're Bryce Adams and you're spotting 6 inches to the guy you're defending, all you got to do is just do anything to try and prevent the shot from going up. Ryba, last year named to the All-IAC team, didn't get honored this year because, of course, we talked about his injury that he had back in their New York tournament in early January. Forced him to miss 6 weeks of action. This is just his 2nd game back, still getting his legs underneath him.
And Bruce Kelly should get a lot of credit. Bruce Kelly played a national schedule. He aggressively played. You don't just play Hightown and native men if you don't have to. That's what I mean. When Grace is going to be there with the players in that. But Bullis went and traveled. They played really tough games. Bruce Kelly has challenged this group, and that's why he's built a really good program over 21 years.
Oh, stolen from behind by Skipworth. The freshman making a veteran play. And then the Marquette commit. Oh, just did not hit the finish. That was Stevens. Chance here for Clinton Grace trying to push the pace. For 3, drains it. Owinje with the 3-pointer.
We're going to write down that 3. Is that what changes the game right there? Because it felt like a big 3. Hey, Stevens has a breakaway, has like a Westbrook-type bank shot, doesn't go in, and Owinje comes back with a 3.
Well, Clinton Grace trailed by 12 against Mount Zion Prep. That was in the first quarter. They were able to come all the way back and beat the team. They just trailed by 12 before that bucket. Lyons inside to Norcomb. Fighting for the rebound, and it goes out of play. Last touch by the White Shirts. This is what you're talking about, Jimmy, for Clinton Grace. Pushing the pace, getting numbers, defense isn't set. That's a deep three they're taken by a win, Jay. That's what they need.
That's what they need. It's right in rhythm. There's no defense. Bullis doesn't have those sets. Try to score here and set up your press.
Well, now here's a chance to go inside. Ryba taking a spot on the bench, as well as Xavier Skipper.
Great inbounds play.
Oh, beautifully set up to get a Winjay again.
See, a Winjay was the inbounder. They turn their head up to get the inbounder. He comes off the stagger, score. 7-point game. You get another consecutive stop here. You're in business.
Lead down to 7. Quick 5-0 burst here for the Eagles. Darren Moore, pass over to Stevens. Stevens one-on-one with some space. Pounded by Kai McKnight. Taken away. Flipped ahead. Big battle for it. We have a whistle over and back called against Bullis.
That's the right call.
What defense there by the sophomore, Kai McKnight, leading to that turnover for Clinton Grace. Outstanding defense by him. A Winjay providing the offense. Here's the defensive stop. And yeah, he threw that into the backcourt. Easy over and back call. As timeout is called here by Bruce Kelly, perhaps sensing the pressure that Clinton Grace is applying right now.
Well, when your size matters when you have Ryba out there, but now they don't. The size isn't that much difference. Clinton Grace's quickness and speed is taking over in Tyler. In other words, Stevens couldn't blow by him. They're a little too fast. They were fast to that loose ball. In other words, the guard speed and quickness is now showing up. Will Ryba come back in? Probably. In other words, that size at 7 foot matters, but Clinton Grace all of a sudden seems to be using his speed and quickness. The inbound play, the inbounder flew off the screen. Bullis couldn't keep up with him. So we'll see what's going to go here. Remember, this is a team of a lot of juniors here at Clinton Grace. Maybe they had a little couple jitters early playing Bullis. Hey, the place is packed, big game. Tyler's on TV. You understand how big this is?
I'm not lost for words, Jimmy. I don't know how to respond to that one. Here we go for 3. That one no good. Another great setup off the timeout. Now Heeman is pressured over in the corner.
See, there's their little defense, even though they didn't get it. See, that's what they do right there when they press.
Once again, Kai McKnight around the basketball. Jalen Lyons reverse to the other side, and Heeman tried to save the ball.
Heeman said, I might be a golfer, but today I'm a little bit like Corey. He's like Corey Kispert. He shoots the threes and can make putts because Corey Kispert's a good golfer. But he recovered quickly and said, welcome to the big time. He closed hard on this for the block. That's a big block right there, because if they hit that 3, you're down to 4, and, panic sets in. Ryba's definitely on like a minutes restriction, because I know Bruce doesn't, Bruce knows what he's doing.
This is his second game back, Jimmy.
Right. And here's another good hands.
7-point lead. Jalen Lyons saw a lane for a moment on the baseline. Pulls it back. Under 3 to go here in the third quarter. Clinton Grace trying to go on a run. It's already a 5-0 run. And then Heeman comes in with the block again. The bench is looking for a foul. They don't get one.
Heeman's playing center. He's like a 2-guard sharpshooter. So he'll just want to play center.
Coming over to help here. I don't know if it was Heeman, but he was involved. Johnson may be credited with the block.
Johnson's my MVP right now of this tournament. I've only watched 2 games. Mostly because of his production, also because I didn't really know who he was. I'm so impressed with him.
Well, champions show up in the big games, and that's what he's doing right now.
Reminds me of, I said this before, reminds me of Will Barton. Better days ahead, who went to Memphis. The Baltimore guy went to Memphis and played 12 years in the NBA.
Skipworth on the bounce. Lost it for a sec, gets it back. Winjay pressuring. Another pressure defense here by the Eagles. 9 to shoot. Darren Moore trying to break it down out to Heeman. And he is fouled. Yeah, he got checked in the gut.
You got to let the shooter land. Now, is that a little bit of a gift? Maybe, because he missed. But you have to, I said this before, they're going to call the screen and roll from the top of the key because they're looking at it. They're going to make sure you let the shooters land or it's going to be a foul every time.
Now, chatting with head coach Bruce Kelly before this game, he was highlighting all of his seniors that are going on to play college basketball. So excited to have 2 4-star recruits on this team. And he got to Michael Heeman, and he told me, he's going to have a great career too in the fraternity league.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he's going to be playing golf and having a good time. But you know what? In a year, he might forget how much he misses it. Because I played Division III at Catholic U as did Bruce. He could do that all day long. Heeman can play. Catholic U just won tonight, beat Franklin and Marshall. That's a big win for him. They have all these Division III teams, John Hopkins, Gettysburg, etc. Heeman can play. If he's choosing to be in the all-fraternity, by the way, he's a really good golfer and makes great putts at Congressional. Because Sean Whalen, golf coach in school.
Yeah, Heeman not playing basketball at the next level as his choice. Just want to remind everyone
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But in a year, he might say, you know what, I miss it. I want to go back. And he can play at the Division III level. He's a really good player.
9-point lead here for the Bulldogs. Clinton Grace, though, a little bit of a spark. Going to work here is Adams on the big man. Gets his own miss. Throws it back out. Lions maybe thought about it. Takes the screen from Adams. Penetrating.
Nice. Ooh. Tricky. Sherman Douglas will spin. Shake and bake. Curry does stuff like that in the paint. You know who does that a lot? Jalen Brunson. When you watch the Knicks play,
yep, that's who I saw.
He's in the paint more than you think, Jalen Brunson. He's not just jacking threes.
About the same height, too. Elevating is Johnson. There on the right elbow.
Guys were MVP in the tournament.
You may know a thing or two about
Johnson. I don't.
31-22, minute left to go here in the third. Hutchins working on the baseline, and then an offensive foul there called on Jordan Hutchins, the junior, wearing number 10. There's the guy Heeman involved again. Offensively, there's Jalen Lyons, just so beautiful. He's a sophomore, folks. 9-point game. Low-scoring affair. Feed inside to Ryba.
That's a one-handed pass off the bounce from Johnson, by the way.
The Bullis faithful rising here inside of Eleanor Roosevelt High School. 9-point lead with 35 seconds left to go in the third. Jalen Lyons answers on the other end.
See, now you got to set your press up, and there's their press full court. My question is, I don't agree with this. And I don't like to criticize coaches. I'm running and jumping. I'm getting up there because I just think they play better when they're aggressive, Clinton, on the defensive line.
Ty McKnight applying the pressure. 13 seconds left to go in the quarter. Stevens trying to hold it. Looks off a screen from Ryba. Crowd cheering on his defensive efforts. Heeman in the corner. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound for Skipworth. Turnaround jumper is good. The freshman playing well beyond his years. Came prepared to Bullis. And with that jumper, he gives them a 10-point lead after 3. Man, you know it's your night when you get those shots to fall after that defensive pressure from Clinton Grace. What a performance here by Bullis. They aren't new to this stage. A year ago, Jimmy, you've referenced it several times, a heartbreaker. Double overtime loss to DeMatha in the championship.
They hit a 3 to send it to overtime, then DeMatha hit a 3 to send it to another overtime, and then it was just, it was a chaotic game, and then DeMatha ends up winning double overtime.
They had a 7-point lead entering the fourth quarter, and then fell short.
Well, they certainly have motivated them in the offseason, and they've learned, and here they are. And this is what makes, if you learn from your loss and you come back and win it, and it's Coach Jones the third, but they got him in the semis. What I like is sometimes you get them in the semis and you exhale until we've got one. No, they haven't, see? They haven't.
And right now they're 8 minutes away from checking off that last box. If they can hold strong here today. We talked about that game against DeMatha. When I talked with Coach Kelly, he said revenge isn't what they talked about. They wanted to play DeMatha again because they believed they were the better team last year. They wanted to prove to themselves that they could win. But revenge was not something they were focused on. They wanted to play their best basketball throughout the entire season.
Yeah, because they get to play them in the Summer League. Mark Stern's 2-weekend tournament over at Hyattsville at DeMatha is one of the best in the country. But at the end of the day, it's not really revenge. It's just, we want a chance to win the state title. Because you don't know who you're going to play. And they got DeMatha in the semis. Well, now here they got Clinton Grace is just a tough. The future's so bright for them. But it's their first time here. Bullis has been here. And like I said, Mark Stern just can't get enough credit. You have the Maryland School for the Deaf here watching. They get to go. They were 26-1. They would never play these teams. Hebrew Academies in this tournament. They would never play these teams. Riverdale Baptist plays some of them. You look at the lineup. The Maryland School for the Deaf young guys that played are here. They brought 300 people to the tournament, Hebrew Academy. That's what Mark Stern needs to get an immense amount of credit for. Have it in a tournament where everyone's involved, all different kinds of players, and that's a big deal. They're going to write that down the rest of their life. I played against an NBA player in Stevens. I played against this guy, that guy.
Corner three is good for the senior Chris Richards.
Stevens hitting him with the pass. Stevens going to Marquette. Either going to, UConn. These guys are going to be on TV, national television. The other small schools get to say we were in a tournament with them. That's pretty cool.
13-point lead, largest of the game for Bullis. CJ Lyons saves possession. Now he penetrates. The floater, well short, may have gotten hit. Bullis kicks it out of play. These guys are fighting, clawing. They are doing whatever they can on both sides for each possession.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, Clint Grace, they know the possessions are running out. That was a big shot right there that they gave up. It was a 10-point game.
Jalen Lyons can't get it to go.
See Bullis there again, holding the one shot. See, Ryman doesn't get enough credit. He boxed out basically two guys right there.
13-point lead here for Xavier Skipworth and the Bulldogs. Now teammates, soon to be rivals. Stevens and Ryba. Stevens driving a little bit short. Rebound goes to Adams. Coach Page saying, let's push for three.
Good look. See, it went the other night. It's just things were going the other night. Transition. You got to play your game. But I might drive it to the basket. Coach Yusefsky from Duke, get to the paint, and you really want to get fouled because then you can stop the clock from running. You got to cut into this 13-point lead.
6 minutes to go before we crown a champion. Bullis right now on top. Ryba with the drive. The lay-in is good. He can do it all.
He can do it all. I mean, I'm sitting here in amazement. I was watching me like, what am I thinking about? He put it on the deck and wanted and showed enthusiasm, having some happy moments. Good for him.
How many more games would you have won in your college career if you had a guy like that on your sideline?
I mean, we had some pretty good bigs with Lonnie Baxter and Chris Wilcox. The game was different then. But I did have a guy at Loyola we wanted, Shane Walker, who was from London. Shane Walker played, he was a stretch that could shoot threes and block shots. It changed the game at the MAC level. We need Fairfield and Iowa. Fairfield, Sidney Johnson was the coach. He's going to do a great job with the Mystics. Really good guy. My point is, bigs now that can shoot, you said it, it's more accepted. But he's still really big, and I like his defensive rebounding. He's also lefty, a little Hunter Dickinson, where it's a little unarmed. Got a lot of things going for him. But yes, you coach guys like that. That's Tom. For those wondering, that's Tom McMillan of the Maryland days. That's what he was like, way ahead of his game, the senator, the congressman. That's what he played like. It's just like Ryman.
I'll see the latest episode of Politics Aside with Chris Salissa to see him there.
Yes, see?
Let's take a look at some of these Bullis alumni.
I talked to him. I met him. I met him.
Tell the story.
We were on the broadcast, the alternate broadcast with Steve Buckhantz. What a fine young man. Of course, he's a great track star. He talked about the history of Bullis and all the great teammates he has, and he talked about Ryba being an All-American and soccer, and Quincy was just a fantastic young man. This guy's an international superstar. He's talking about how lucky he is to go to a diverse school like Bullis and with all these other athletes. Buckhantz led the interview, not me. Steve's a legend. Just listening to him go with Quincy was fantastic.
As well as Mo Curry and Eric Reynolds the second, breaking St. Joseph's scoring record.
Yeah, and it was good because people forget Delonte West was on that team with Nelson, Jameer Nelson. That's his record. Right from here. West is right from here. Delonte from Eleanor Roosevelt.
16-point lead. Blocking foul will be called against Heeman.
What I liked about Bullis was the first thing they said, Tyler. You got to talk to the coaches. Quincy said we're friends with all the other athletes. And remember, they have a lot of high on the cross players and golfers, etc. In other words, he mentioned all the other players and all the other sports. And you could tell it was a tight-knit community. So this championship will mean a lot to everyone in the school.
Bryce Adams, the first free throw. Captain of this team, anchors the paint. Coach Page says he is more talented than people understand. There's a lot for this team that's unheralded. Here's the pressure you were talking about, Jimmy.
See, there it goes. Right there, layup. Oh, yeah, could have gone either way, but a right call.
Stevens went for the rejection. Instead, he'll get tagged with the foul.
So you cut it to 9. You score this, you cut it to 11. Set your press up again. If you don't get a steal, then you got to get a stop down the other end. But I like the energy of the pressure. I just think maybe they should have done it right out of the half. I don't coach anymore.
Chance to cut the lead to 12. This is the first. Jaden Lyles, a sophomore, already with offers from Georgetown, George Mason, Morehead State.
Your school, George Mason, Tony Skinn, they're right on the bubble. They won't get a bid, I don't think, unless they win the tournament. ECU will get a bid regardless. I hope it.
Tony knows how to coach point guards.
Tony's an excellent, well, he was wrong. He went to the Final Four. They're kind of a surprise in the area. Chris Caputo's done really well with 20 wins. Dwayne Simmons just won his game down to semis.
Yeah, they're in the finals.
Rebuilding semis.
Oh.
Against Colgate, semis. Tyler, semis.
Well, no, I was saying they're going to the finals. Right?
Well, let's see if they can beat Colgate, the 5-time defending champ. But Georgetown's kind of on schedule towards the NIT.
Ryba for 3.
Ryba. You know, Georgetown has to beat Ryba and UConn and Stevens at Marquette. But, you know, Kevin Willard's the best team in the area right now. And they have a freshman, Derek Queen.
Adams going up against the big man. He'll get called for the fouls. He was scrapping for a rebound. At stop.
The UConn coaches, Tom Moore, Luke Murray, watching this, you got yourself a real player. You know, he's from Germany. We've seen some great players like, you know, Detlef Schrempf, of course, our friends from the Dallas Mavericks, and Bad Nowitzki. But look at that pass.
The feed to Stevens.
He's just taken over. Since the fourth quarter, Ryba's taken over. I love Johnson as the MVP before, but it's got to go to Ryba now because he's just dominated the game. He hit 2 threes to seal the win.
The future of the Big East on display right now with Stevens and Ryba. Jalen Lyles, his team trailing by 18, trying to make something happen. Oh, what a shot. What a shot. Up ahead to Stevens. To Ryba. Miscommunication there. Officials let it go. Transition chance here. Oh, he dribbled it right to Stevens. Ryba sizing up his defender. And they get the whistle on the rebound.
Probably should have kicked that out for a 3, Ryba.
His last pay here for Jalen Lyons.
You can't teach that. That's just like playground. I'm getting a bucket when I'm playing well. I'm going to score. And Clint Grace is going to be back. The future is bright. I'm really glad I get to know Coach Page because the more I watch him, the more I see how great what he's done in 7 years at a small school. And that's why this tournament's so good because you find people like Clint Grace.
Rebound. Going there to Norcom. The bucket and the foul. Well, Jimmy, we've talked about Stevens and what he's done for this team all season long for Bullis. I think we lost track. The last bucket for Bullis, that was his first bucket of the game.
You know, he's a guy that wants to win. It's not really his matchup. They're kind of double teaming him. He couldn't get by his guy. Man, he's not really a pure point. You know, as I said, he's like Russell Westbrook. He's not a pure point guard, but he'll rebound. He does everything. But don't make no mistake if you're listening. Stevens did his job because he dominated the game against the Mather, and he is why they won. Yeah, Ryder hit a couple big threes. Johnson was great. No, Stevens took the game over. He was the dominant player. That's why they beat the Mather. So he did his job getting him here. And today he's just been very solid.
3-point play for Norcom makes it a 13-point game. Another turnover there by Bullis. They'll have numbers if they can push correctly. Jalen Lyons, off-balance shot, no good. Guess who's there to clean up the glass? Stevens pushing it all the way to the bucket, tries to jam it down. Fighting for the rebound, goes out of bounds and will stay here with the Bullis Bulldogs. You know, Jimmy, I know there's probably a lot of fans at home. There's a lot of fans in this building for sure that are upset with the no calls here in this one. In my opinion, officials are keeping it consistent. That's all
I
they
think
want.
it's been very consistent. These officials have Been around a long time. They do. Baltimore Catholic League mixes it up sometimes. They don't want the same guys all the time.
See the fans letting the officials know.
It's all about how many free throws. The free throws are fairly even. I don't think officiating's had anything to do with this game. It's been Johnson early. It's been Stevens' commitment to being solid. Bruce Kelly's defense is good, but Ryba has shown up. As this game's gone, Tyler, you got to admit he's gotten stronger as the game has gone.
It's been all Ryba, Johnson, and Richards from behind the arc. Those three have been drilling the three-pointers for the Bulldogs, and it has been enough to give them a 13-point lead. Bruce Kelly in the huddle trying to coach this team to their first state championship. In the latest hometown, Rachel Nichols catches up with Wizards rookies Alex Sarr, Bub Carrington, and Keyshawn George in Los Angeles during their West Coast road trip. They discuss a unique path to the NBA and more. Watch the premiere Monday at 5:30 p.m. Everyone wants to talk to the rookies, Jimmy.
Look, Will Dawkins and Winger are doing what they said they were going to do. You want OKC? Well, you have to go through some growing pains. But they got some nice trade pieces. Middleton and Smart give you some toughness. Kispert's going to stay. Remember, Sadiq Bey's out. He'll be back next year. And if you get who you think you want to get, to me, it's Harper or Cooper Flag. Those are the only two I think that can help you right away, just my opinion. You have some pieces, but your young guys are going to continue to get better. They've got better. They have courage playing those guys all that minutes.
Skipworth pulls it back. 7 to shoot, throwing it down. Eric Reeby, how does it look in the penthouse? (48-33). Backing it down is Norcom. Going up against the smaller Jeremiah Johnson. Reverse, no good.
See, that's what you said. The refs aren't going to call that. Watch the dunk here by Ryba. See, he just waits for. What I like is he's patient. Waits for the defense to kind of slow down. Reads the defense and goes down the lane and dunks it.
15-point lead. 2.5 minutes left to go in the game. Clinton Grace needs a stop. Bullis winding it down. 6 seconds on the possession clock. Stevens to Ryba. He's trying to blow the lid off this building, Jimmy.
Anybody who's old, look up Jay Murphy. His kids played at Florida for Billy Donovan. Jay Murphy played for Gary Williams. He was left-handed, could shoot. One of the first bigs that could shoot. They went to the Sweet 16. They beat Jay Billis at Duke, by the way, and Krzyzewski in round of 32. Jay Murphy shot it like him, like a stretch 4-5 before the game. Ryba, though, he still plays inside. Watch this. Reads the defense and opens up and he dunks it. But he got there in 1 or 2 dribbles. It didn't take 5 dribbles. He's obviously working on all that stuff in the gym. Good for him.
We've seen him hit threes. We've seen him dribble drive. We've seen him take it all the way to the cup. We've seen him throw it down.
We've seen a defensive rebound.
We've seen everything. Again, McDonald's All-American, 4-star recruit, ranked 32nd by 24/7 Sports. Just his second game back from an ankle injury. Ryba bounce pass to Johnson. Trying to take it on in. Someone left Skipworth wide open.
Johnson continues. See, Johnson's going to be really good for Kenny Blakely and Howard because he doesn't have to score. He's not one of those guys that always has to score to be good. He's good in all the other areas, too.
Step back for Jalen Lyles. No good. And we will stay here. As Adams is fouled on the rebound. Again, Bryce Adams, a senior, 6'6". Collecting the foul on Ryba, his second. Coach Page watching on as this game slipping away from his Eagles.
He's got nothing to be ashamed of. They did a great job getting here. They beat the #1 seed, Mount Zion. This is kind of new for him. Now you're playing Bullis with 2 guys going to Big East. You can say what you want. Resumes don't matter, but when you're playing 2 guys going to Big East, that's a tall task to beat them.
Lead back down to 15.
They got a lot of interchangeable pieces at Bullis. Coach has done a great job. And like a lot of guys can handle the ball. A lot of guys can play the point. They can switch 1 through 4. Look at that pass. Your 5-man can make passes.
Darren Moore 65 seconds left to go in this game. Here comes the pressure. Time is out here for the Eagles. The three ball does not drop for Johnson. Clinton Grace needs a bucket this possession to have a chance. The double team. CJ has to pick it up. Throws it over to the wing. Too much time coming off the clock. Hutchins driving, throwing it down, but it may be too little too late.
Yeah, they had like 7 dunks against Mount Zion. That's the first dunk I've seen today.
On the other side, Rival! And the Bullis crowd sensing it. 23 seconds left to go. Pull up, no good. The rebound collected by Riva. And now, as they bring it over half court, the Bullis Bulldogs are the Maryland Private School State Champions. They have capped off an incredible 3-year run for the program, and they sit on top of DMV Hoops basketball. What a run for Bullis here in this tournament. Beating the big dogs in DeMatha and closing out the job here today against Clinton Grace.
Starts at the top. Coach Bruce Kelly. Patience, kindness, calmness, great teacher, but a very competitive guy who loves the game. He has his team in tough summer leagues. Bruce took this thing 21 years ago. He left Gonzaga, Dick Myers. Legendary program. Went over to be a math teacher. Came here from Miami to go to school at Catholic U. I'll give you his resume. Wonderful human that cares about being a math teacher before he cares about being a basketball coach. But make no mistake, he had his vision for Bullis. Martin Bahar, all these guys I know from Bullis talk about it. Chad Thompson, etc. Bruce has done it year by year by year with lots of different pieces. Now he has a McDonald's All-American in Riba. But to come back from last year's DeMatha loss to win this thing like this, how impressive, Tyler. Running away with it with a 15-point win.
I am so excited to watch what he'll be able to bring to the Huskies in future seasons. 7-footer that can shoot threes, can throw it down, can clean the offensive glass and the defensive glass. He was phenomenal for the team here today. Just his second game back from injury. He was mightily impressive. His absence forced the team to switch their offensive style and how they were playing games, because he was just so important with what they did. When you lose a 7-footer, you have to change everything. They didn't want to change it back with him coming back, but he found a way to be impactful in these past 2 games, and he's a huge reason why they're winning this championship.
Yeah, and he looked comfortable coming off the bench. I love that. He put the team first. But his ability to shoot the ball is better than I thought.
Well, we're about to get a chance to talk with the senior again. UConn signee going on to play with Dan Hurley next season. Of course, going to be playing in the McDonald's All-American game coming up next month. But Eric, first of all, congratulations to you guys winning a championship.
Thank you, thank you.
What are your thoughts after being able to put it all together like this?
I mean, we've been fighting for this ever since that big loss last year, so we just work for this day, and we just put on a show, and that's what we do.
He's your friend now. He's not going to be your friend next year at Marquette. Let me tell you something. Your 2 threes last game, I thought, were huge in the fourth quarter. Yeah. You played great today, but your defensive rebounding was outstanding. You got every defensive rebound. You held them to 1 shot. Good for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is that something you focus on, defensive rebounding? Because you're really good. You get it right off the rim.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Last year, I wasn't that good at this in the offseason, and during our season, I was just working on just grabbing every rebound and just putting my heart into that, too.
Well, you did great.
Eric, this was a special season for you guys. From the beginning, they scheduled you guys to make sure you had a tough schedule, challenging what you guys could do. And then you got injured midway through the season.
Yeah.
Talk about the work that it took to get back to this point, to be able to be here and compete for this championship.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been fighting with my ankle ever since that one twist against Jackson Reed, so I've just been trying to get that movement back in. I played through it in Missouri against League Academy and stuff, so but after that, I just had to take a little quick break, and then so I can jump in back healthy as fast as I can. So
I got to ask you this. I played with Bruce Kelly in college. That's how old I am. He's a great teacher. Everyone knows you and Stevens, Marquette, UConn. Johnson was a complete surprise to me coming in. I thought Johnson played really well. Skipworth, your whole team seemed to have like a look, you seem like you guys get along well, but it seemed like everybody could kind of play every position. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's not really a surprise that they go off like that. I mean, we know these guys for such a long time, and we know what kind of work we put in, and we've seen them all at their best this season, so it's not really a surprise for us.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yes,
outstanding
Thank
effort.
you.
Again, Eric Ryba, a champion here at the Maryland Private School State Championship. We'll let him go join his teammates and celebrate what will be Bullis' first ever Maryland Private School State Championship. Jimmy, next time you guys got to get me a step stool or something. It's just not fair.
Well, it's tough with a 7-footer. I'll tell you what, Tyler, this was a great adventure with you. The women's game, although it was a blowout, let me make sure you understand this. St. Francis had some injuries. To see those women play and to see the level of McNamara's depth, they're going to play in the WNBA. And I feel like we may see some of these guys, we'll certainly see them in the college game, in the NBA. This was a great tournament because we saw some real future stars, not all seniors, some younger. Samuels was a sophomore. Her 8 threes, what did you say? She broke the thermometer?
Yeah, she broke the thermometer.
It was just a great two-day tournament for me to be here. You're wonderful. But you tell us your perspective of talking to the coaches about the kids. And there's all different levels they're going to.
Well, it was just incredible to see how teams not only grew throughout the season, but in this tournament specifically. And speaking in here at Bullis here for a little bit, able to hit the threes here today. And what they were able to do from start to finish let's put this in perspective. They're a smaller school. They aren't the DeMatha. They aren't the Gonzaga. They aren't going to have these top-end recruits cycling in year after year. They had to take advantage of this season. When you have 2 players like Stevens, when you have 2 players like Ryba, you have to finish the job when you get these chances when you're at a school like Bullis. And that's what they did.
They did, and like you said, whether it was revenge or just having a chance to play DeMatha, even though it was in the semis to beat them. And Clinton Grace, this program's here to stay. They got a lot of players, Coach Page. It's a wonderful tournament. Mark gets the hat off. Remember, it's not all about the biggies. It's the mediums and the Hebrew academies and the Maryland School for the Deaf and different schools that get to come and play in this. It's an adventure and it's a journey, but at the end of the day, you got high major players for the men and women, as good as anywhere in the country because the DMV is as good as anywhere in the country. And Maryland's a big part of that.
Well, and we're giving a ton of credit to Bullis. Of course, they won the championship, but I also want to give the flowers to Clinton Grace
and Mount
head coach
Zion,
Page.
who was the number 1 seed.
But they are smaller than Bullis. 6 years ago, they were playing the PVAC, which is not a conference where you see teams playing for championships in the private school leagues here in the area. So by having that development, trying to turn this team into a national program, they are well on their way with what Coach Page is doing with them.
But make no mistake, everyone listening, this tournament helps them recruit. You say, oh, you can't play those. No, you have a chance at the end of the year to play them if you come here. Yeah, you play them in AAU. Okay, we might not play them during the regular season, but between the Bullises, you'll get some individual games in the Catholic League. But you get a chance in the Maryland State Private School Tournament to play them. And that's a recruiting thing. But if I'm a young guy, that's what I want at the end of the year is a chance to play the best. And that's why Mark Stern's tournament's great.
Well, it looks like they're getting set up for the trophy presentation. Let's hand it over to local PA announcer Jeff Beckett here for the trophy presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will announce our tournament team for the 2025 Maryland Private School State Basketball Tournament. From Mount Zion, Francis Folifat. Francis Folifat from Zion Prep. From DeMatha High School, Ace Meeks. From Clinton Grace, Jaylon Lyons. From Bullis, Eric Ryba. And the most outstanding player of the tournament, number 13, Adrian Stevens. And to the championship, Bullis Bulldogs. And we'd like to wish a happy birthday to Bullis assistant coach Paul DeStefano, a DC legend. in the coaching arena. And now, we'd like to congratulate the 2025 Maryland Private School State Basketball Tournament champions, the Bullis Bulldogs. On behalf of the Maryland Private School State Basketball Tournament Committee, we'd like to thank all of the patrons that came out to support these young people as they put in hard work to achieve their dreams. We thank you and look forward to seeing you next year for the 2026 Maryland Private School State Basketball Tournament.
Well, it was an outstanding tournament here in Maryland, celebrating the top private schools in the state. We hope you guys watching at home was so much fun to watch as much as it was to call the games. Jimmy,
Tyler,
final thoughts?
What do we think? If we win this game today, we will walk together as champions. These Bullis guys will remember this forever.
Always a coach, Jimmy Patsos. Want to thank everyone on our staff here able to put together this broadcast and all broadcasts throughout the 2024-25 high school season. Thank you to Bill Bell, Brian McNally, Don Dorado for being able to put it all together, and our producer, Jack Hockman. The Bullis Bulldogs are your Maryland Private School State champions. For Jimmy Patsos, I'm Tyler Byram. We'll see you next time.